Hi, welcome to CS Glitz. In the last video, we learned about conditional statements. In this video, we'll focus on loops. Let's talk about escape characters first. They allow us to use some special characters which we normally cannot type in code, such as \n. \n will give us a new line, so ABCD will be printed first and then in a new line EF will be printed. We can use /t for tab. We can use cls command to clear out the contents of the terminal. Sometimes we want to write Python statements just to try them like what we are doing right now. Instead of writing full programs, we can try them in a Python shell. We can open a Python shell by using IDLE as discussed in the installer video, or we can just type Python in the terminal. When we run, it will first show the version and give us a prompt to type. The prompt is shown by 3 symbols. Whatever we type, it will just instantly run that line. This is very good if we want to try something out without writing a full code. We can use a single quote character inside a single quote string. The \/ is telling Python to consider the next character as a quote character inside the string. It will not print \, so in a way it escaped that character. Similarly, we can use double quotes character inside a double quoted string. /b for backspace. This will move the cursor one step back, thus replacing D with E. Remember, it will only move the cursor one step back, not actually deleting D, as we can confirm it from this line. /r for carriage return. This will move the cursor to the front of the line, thus replacing A, B with EF. This will print the character with ASCII code 102 in octal, which is the code for B. This will print the character with ASCII code 41 in hexadecimal, which is the code for A. Let's try to print \. It failed. Since \/ is an escape character, we need to use it twice to print it. We can call exit function to get out of the shell. There are times when we want to repeat some steps in a program. This is where we can use the while loop. While loop takes a condition similar to the if block. Inside that, we can write as many statements as we want. When we run the code and it reaches the while, it will check for the condition. If it is true, then it will enter the block and execute it. After the last statement, it will again check for the condition, and as long as it's true, it keep going inside. When the condition gets false, it will just move on to the next block. Let's write a program that will take a number n from the user and print all the numbers from 1 to n. We will just start with 1. As long as the value of I is less than or equal to n, we will just print the value and increase it by 1. This way, we can print many numbers without writing that many print functions. If we forget the I is equal to I plus 1, then the condition can never become false and our program can run forever. If this happens, then we can press Ctrl C in the terminal to stop it. Our program is printing all the number in the different lines because by default the print function uses a new line character /n after the last printed character. Because of this, after printing, the cursor moves to the next line. We can change it as per our requirement. Let's change it to spaces. The end is a keyword argument. Functions can have some parameters with default values, like print has a parameter end with a default value of \n. We can change the default value by specifying them while calling the function. Now this will print our numbers separated by spaces instead of new lines. Please notice that done is printing just after the last integer. Because there is no new line character between last number and done, we can change it to print the next line by calling an empty print function. This will just print a new line character. Or we can use escape character to do the same. Instead of writing I is equal to I plus 1, we can also write I plus equals 1, which means we are adding 1 in I. There are 7 arithmetic shortcut operators: addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, remainder, power, floor division. Let's print the final value of x. There are even bigger programs than this, which can be much difficult to understand. To understand what is happening, we have to calculate it line by line or put a print statement in between each one of them. In such situations, we can use debugging to understand the code. Most of the IDEs comes with a debugger support by default. To activate it, we need to put a breakpoint first. We can do this by clicking on the left side of the number line representing the line count. VS Code is showing it by a red dot. To remove a breakpoint, we can just press it again. Now go to the Run tab. Before running, we can check that it's showing our line number in the breakpoint panel. Press Run and Debug. Debug the currently active Python file. It will run our code in debug mode. While in debug mode, our controls are on the top center. Let's click the Step Over button. It will run only the current line, x equals 3. We can see all the active variables on the left hand side. After executing it, the next line, we can see that x is increased by 2. We can also write expressions in the watch window. It will evaluate them while debugging. Type of x is showing as int. Next line will decrease the x by 3. Then it will multiply by 5. After dividing 2, it is 5.0, since divide operator returns float value. After the last line, debug mode will end. Let's try to understand while loop in more details using the debug mode. We can put a breakpoint anywhere we want. We'll just start the debug mode. Our program just runs and asks for the number. As soon as we enter 4, it will hit our breakpoint and stop. We can see currently it's showing only n, which is 4. After running the current line, it is showing I as well. As 1 is less than 4, it will enter the loop and print the value of I. The I will be increased by 1. It will just keep going inside until I becomes 5. After that, it will print done and exit. Let's try to make condition a breakpoint. The continue button will keep our program running until it hits the next breakpoint, which will stop at the next condition check. We can also add or remove breakpoints while debugging our program. Before going to the next example, let's play with numbers in the Python shell. We can just type a variable to check its value. If we divide a number by 10 and take the remainder, then that will give us the last digit. If we do the floor division, then that will remove the last digit. To insert a new digit in n, we can just multiply it by 10 and add it. This will append 4 in 1, 2, 3. Now let's try to write a program that will reverse a number. We will first append the last digit of n in the R, then we'll just remove the last digit from n. It's a good practice to start a program with a fixed input. It will make it easier to test them out. After developing the code, we can change it to the user input. So far, we learned about only bool, int, float and str type variables. But there are other types of variables that we can create. One of very useful type is an iterator. Iterator in Python is simply an object that can be iterated upon. An object which will return data one by one. To understand this better, let's assume that we are at a billing counter of a shopping mall. The cashier will take out our items one by one and scan them for billing. We can say that the cashier is iterating over the shopping items. This is very useful when we are dealing with some group of objects. We already know one such type, str. A string is made up of characters. We can use the built-in function iter to get the iterator from a variable. As we can see, it's a str iterator, that is, string type iterator. Not all types of objects can give iterators. To get items from an iterator, we can use next function. This will give us a value from the iterator. If we call next again, it will give us the next value. Let's try them out in Python shell so that we don't need to run it every time. As we can see, inside the shell, it can automatically print values returned by the function. We don't need to write print statement for showing the value of a variable. Now, every time we call next, it will fetch a value from our iterator and return. We can keep doing this until we run out of items. Then it will give stop iteration error. A for loop uses the same concept. We can call next automatically by using a for loop. Now let's debug it to understand it more closely. It will first create an iterator using itr function and keep calling next until it hits stop iteration. While calling next, it will assign the value to a variable specified by us. In this case, it's x. Let's talk about range. Range is a built-in function that returns a sequence which is iterable. Let's try to print from 1 to 10 using the range function. This will print the numbers from 0 to 9, since it will iterate over numbers from 0 to less than 10, excluding 10 as a result. We need to change the range to 11 in order to print till 10. We can also change the starting number to 1 instead of 0 by passing two arguments. The first one is start and the second one is end. By default, it's increasing the value by 1. We can change that by giving it a third argument. Now it will start at 1 and increase the numbers by 2 every time, till it's less than 11. We can reverse the loop by using a negative number for step size. It will start from 10 and keep going down by 3 as long as the number is greater than 1. Remember, this will exclude 1 just like the previous examples. To make it go till 1, we need to change it to 0. This way of applying for loop is similar to a for each loop in C++ or Java. Now, let's try to apply what we have learned so far and write a program to check whether a number is a prime or not. As we know, a prime number is a number that is divisible by 1 and itself. The smallest prime number is 2, as 1 is not a prime number. We check the divisibility for every number between 2 and n-1. If it is divisible by any one of them, then we will set is prime to false. Let's try to run it for 1 as well. It shows the wrong answer. Let's try to debug it. For 1, it is showing prime number because it's not even going inside the for loop. We can fix that by making is prime false for all the values less than 2. Now, let's try to run our program for large values. It takes a lot of time because it's checking divisibility with every number, even though it's divisible by 2. This can be avoided by using a break statement. As soon as the Python interpreter hits this line, it will break out from the current running loop. Now, when it finds a number which divides n, it will just come out of the loop and saves our time. We can use else statement with the for and while loops. Python will execute the else block after successfully completing the loop. But it will not run the else block if the loop gets interrupted by break, as break makes our program exit from the loop. Sometimes we want to skip some values in the loop. In those cases, we can use a continue statement. If it hits continue, then it will not run anything after it and just go back to the condition, which will show all the powers of 5 as a prime number. As an exercise, try to debug it to understand the control flow of a continue statement. Now let's try to write a guessing game. We will ask the user to enter numbers until he is able to guess the correct one. Although this is nice to play for the first time, our game lacks replayability value because it will always give the same number. To make it an enjoyable game, let's try to add randomness to it. So far, we are using only the built-in functions, but there are many other functions that we can use in Python. We can load the function randint from the module random. For now, just think of modules as a collection of functions. We will discuss them later in details. Randint is a function that returns a random integer between two values. Now let's limit the attempts to 2. If a user wasn't able to guess in 2 attempts, then he or she will lose. If the guess is correct, then break out from the loop, otherwise increase the attempts by 1. We will display the number if the user was not able to guess. Moving on to our next example, we will be printing a number triangle. This is a number triangle for 4. Let's print it for 5. We can use a loop within another loop. Outer loop will run from 1 to n and inner loop will run from 1 to I. Let's print all the values in the inner loop in a single line. After printing the inner loop, let's print a blank line. As an exercise, you can try to debug it to understand how it is working line by line. Let's do a quick recap on what we have learned today. Escape characters, Python shell, while loop and shortcut operators, debug code using VS Code, iterators, for loop and range function, break, else and continue statements, loop within a loop, nesting. Links to the source code for the examples and assignments are in the description. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.